we won't have any background noise. Okay. So hi, everybody. Welcome to this call. This is what we call Mondays with Dale. Barb thought that up a while back, and it kind of stuck. This is a call that I put on every week, same time, and it's really just for information, for camaraderie. We're not all on the same team that are on here, but we're all in the same company. And I'm a firm believer in a rising tide lifts all ships. So if we as a group can help the company build, it's going to help all of us. So that's why I've never turned away anyone who is on a team other than my own that would like help. And because of that, so many leaders do the same for me. So it works out very, very well, and we have a good symbiotic relationship. The big thing about a call like this is, I'm a firm believer in communication. If you don't know what's going on, if you don't know where to get the information, if you don't know where to ask a question or get an update, you're gonna struggle in this business. You need to be able to have a place to go, people to reach out to, mentors to talk to, and that's what I try to bring to this through some of the interviewees that we talk to, through the information we give. So let's get started. Just going to bring a couple things that I do every week that we're going to zip through, just so you'll be aware of it. African countries that have offices, as of right now, offices and staff include Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and the DRC. Okay, so those countries we have the ability to grow in. All of them except the DRC are already growing pretty rapidly. The DRC, we have an office here in Kinshasa. We're really just getting our toe in the water there. So if you know people from that area, certainly now's a good time to get connected, because it's just getting started. Now, the good about being able to get in early is the fact that you can help a lot of people succeed. The bad about getting into a country early is the fact that you're going to have to jump through some extra hoops. There may be some logistics problems. There may be some questions as far as how to get product from one part of the country to another. So again, when I tell you we're just sticking our toe in the water in the DRC, we do have an office there. We do have an office manager, but we're just getting rolling. We probably won't have our official kickoff there until sometime, I'd say, in March or April. But again, with the rest of the countries I talked about, we're established. We also have a presence in Rwanda, Burundi, Somalia, Namibia, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, and Cameroon. That's just the ones I know about that my group works with. I'm sure there's other countries out there that are starting out, but those are the ones that I know of, and I try to keep people up to date on that. Communication. I'll be brief on this. We always go through this. If you're new to this business, or you've got people that are new to this business, make sure they download WhatsApp, because that's very powerful in the African continent. Make sure they download Telegram, because that's the app you need if you're going to keep up to date on what corporate is doing. Obviously, getting people to download Zoom and explain how that works so that they can come on these calls, that's paramount. Facebook. I'm sure everyone here is on Facebook, but if you're not, we have so many groups that we have on Facebook that you can reach out to for a follow-up, for communication. And YouTube. Every one of these videos that I put together, along with the videos that Alton puts together, and Adrian and everybody, they all go down YouTube. That gives you something to reach out for. If you need to do a presentation, and you can't, and there's a particular time when you can't get anybody to come on a call, and you got somebody that's hot, pull down one of those videos, familiarize yourself with them so you know which ones are the best to kind of fit your personality. There's all kinds of different speakers. You got guys like me that do the best I can. You got guys like Lennon have been doing it for years. You got people like Alton that just exudes that kind of I always think of him. He could easily have been a movie star. So it all depends on who you feel comfortable with, and sometimes you might feel comfortable for them on one part of it, maybe the presentation, but maybe somebody else is better for you on training. So just kind of customize it to fit your business. If anybody wants it, and you got a paper, a piece of paper and a pen, my personal number, if anybody ever wants to reach out to me on WhatsApp, on Telegram, on just call me, whatever way you want to. My phone number is 1-802-343-9075. Okay. I want everybody to have access. I'll help anybody that ever asks for it. I also, my Facebook, if you haven't friended me on Facebook, feel free to. My address there is dale.franklin.378. So feel free to reach out to me. Jody Levanaway works with me, and she does a lot of stuff that helps everybody on my team. And if you aren't getting the information that she's sending out and you want it, feel free just to reach out to us and we'll make sure you get on it. She gives you a list of apps to join and how. She gives you a list of groups to join and how. She gives you daily postings of meetings with addresses, with passwords if they're necessary, with times. So there's really no reason for you to ever miss something that you need, because we're trying to force feed you all the information we can. And then also meetings that can help you grow. Obviously, this meeting, we hope you get some value from this meeting. The Win Network with Alton and Adrian, they have daily meetings. And then Chris Bailey. Chris Bailey is a great friend of mine and Alton's and Lennon's, and he's a phenomenal presenter and trainer. And he does every Saturday at 8 p.m. Kenya time. If you're somewhere else, just base it off of that. 8 p.m. Kenya time, he does a presentation for the African market. He does it early enough in the United States so he can do it for the African market. That's every Saturday, 8 p.m. Kenya time. His Zoom is 777-352-8173, and his password is 112021. Okay, so those are just some places you can go. There is just tons and tons and tons of places. And I personally, I use Candace Bird Davis sometimes for her take her 30-minute video, and I'll use that for a presentation just to give a different outlook on it. So now I'm going to talk real quick about contests. If you were on the call with Josh the other day, you know that there's a new leaderboard contest, and it's great the way he did it this time. Before it was the 15 highest leaders in the company, and so it could have all ended up in maybe one region of the world or another. This has been broken down into regions, and because of that, everybody has a shot. One of the regions is Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda, and they're going to get about three $1,000 prizes for that. So if you're one of the top three people for the month of February in those three countries, you're going to get $1,000. And then they broke it down into South Africa and the DRC. South Africa is a little more established, and they probably have a better chance at it. But I'm trying to push my DRC people. I want to give you guys a South Africa contest. So again, the top three in that area are going to get $1,000, and then Ghana and Nigeria, same thing. They're another region, and there's going to be three that get $1,000 there. And then they break it up in the U.S. into the EU. They got some specific for the UK, for Taiwan, and for Canada. So there's a total of $28,000, 28 $1,000 prizes available for the month of February. So jump all over that. And then the Vegas Mastermind event that is coming up in Las Vegas. They originally going to do it in March. Because of the coronavirus, they've moved it to May, which I kind of anticipated they would do that, and it's great because it gives us more time to qualify more people. So that's the date of that is going to be in Las Vegas is going to be May 12th through the 14th, and the contest has been extended so that anybody who can reach 25K affiliate twice within February, March, or April, okay, and is bonus pool qualified all 3 months, can also qualify for this trip. Now remember, the trip's going to pay in Africa. It's going to pay $1,000 towards your trip, towards your flight. Once you get there, it's going to pay for your rooms, your meals, your travel, your within the city. So it's it's a freebie, guys. So, and everybody on here I know could qualify for that if they want to bad enough. Oh yeah, and for those who have already qualified, if we requalify, we're going to get they're going to have some sort of a VIP status for us that qualify a second time. So that's something to look forward to. I know, and Josh, if he sets something up VIP, it's going to be pretty neat. So if you've already qualified, qualify again. So last thing, which I'll be looking at shortly for next week, next Monday. I got somebody coming on that's going to be a real treat for you in 2 weeks. But next week, I'm still trying to decide what I want to do as far as whether you guys want a speaker, or I haven't done a Q&A in a long time, a question and answer type thing. If that's something people want, just mention it in the notes over here on the side, the post. Just let me know if that's something anybody's interested in. We haven't done it in quite a while. It was well received the last time we did it. But if you would like one meeting where you guys can just ask questions and we'll do the best we can to answer them for you, just put a note in the message board. Okay, so that's everything we've got there. Now I got a real treat. I get to introduce a good friend of mine who is going to be speaking today. His name is Lennon Ledbetter. This gentleman is one of the greatest network marketers in the history of our planet. Okay, he's made about $200 million in network marketing in his lifetime. He's never done anything but network marketing. He joined when he was 18, but I won't steal his thunder. That's his story. I'll let him tell that. He has written checks for $7 million homes and $500,000 cars on multiple occasions. He's spoken to sold out arenas worldwide. He's a master trainer and motivator. He has a passion for this industry. He was retired. He doesn't have to do work. He doesn't have to work anymore. He was retired for quite some time, for years, and he decided to come back just because he missed it. He missed the camaraderie. He missed the growth. He missed the challenge. So he's very, very passionate about what he does, and he's always fired up. I mean, I've never seen the guy when he wasn't at 100%, 110%. The guy is, I don't know, I think he mainlines caffeine right into his veins or something. But he has a heart of gold. He's my mentor, and I consider him a true friend. So I'd like to introduce Lennon. Lennon Ledbetter, are you out there?
Hey, I am. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Welcome to the call.
Well, it's exciting to be with all my friends over in Africa. This is awesome.
Well, you know, you've been on these calls a couple times before. You know how I do them. It's an interview, but it's more of a conversation. And I've had many people respond to that to say they like that kind of a back and forth, so that they really get to know you. So what I'd like you to do to begin with is I've got a bunch of different little questions and tidbits from things I've garnered from you over the years. But to start with, tell us a little bit about your story. Tell us how you got started and what excited you about this business to begin with.
Well, I really was. I was in high school, so I was only 17 years old, and it was funny because I think that's one of the great blessings from God is that I saw it. You know, a lot of people are shown the presentation, but man, I saw it and got excited. I saw the people that were succeeding, and I had grown up just basically everybody in my neighborhood was paycheck to paycheck. Nobody in my neighborhood had a nice car. Nobody in my neighborhood had a nice house. Nobody in my neighborhood had their house paid for. I looked at all my relatives and man, I loved them. Like I loved my Uncle Willie. He is a great guy, a plumber. And I just realized that, you know, I'm trying to make this a short answer so Dale can ask me a few other things, but I think you can maybe relate that I loved my grandfather, but he was a sharecropper, didn't even have enough money to own his land. I looked at my other grandfather. He was a labor man, a roustabout in the oil fields, the lowest paid income man. And I loved him, but I didn't want to live their life. And man, it was also very frustrating to me because at that time I'd been taught this simple line that said, it takes money to make money. And I remember thinking, I was very frustrated. Some people, they hear that, it takes money to make money, and it just goes over their head. To me, I really thought about it. I went, man, I'm never going to have any money. I'll never get out of this neighborhood. I can never live the life of my dreams, because if it takes money to make money, I'll never have any money because I don't have any money. And if I don't have any money, then how am I ever going to have money? Because it takes money to make money. And then I went to an event just like me and Dale are doing today. And I realized it doesn't take money to make money. It takes courage to make money. And all of us, it's free to open our mouth. In our network, in our business, it's free to open our mouth. So I realized it took courage to make money. I also realized I could get better at it as I did it, just like football, just like anything that we chose to do. If I just don't quit, I just stick, I'll get better at it by doing it. So I believed I could do it. I said, yes, this is my way. And I got really excited. So I got registered while I was still in high school. And it's all I've ever done. I've just never had a job in my life. I graduated from high school, and I guess I could I could make that answer be a long answer, because I sometimes think if it's all I've ever done in my life, and then somebody asks me all the experiences, all the goodness, all the people's lives we helped, and then condense it down into a couple of minute answer. How do you put 30 years into a 2-minute answer? And so I tried, but I want you to know that it's been extremely, extremely rewarding. It's been extremely exciting. Sometimes I think, man, I worked this thing. Then other times I think, I've never worked a day in my life, because I realized that how hard of work was it just sharing with other people how they could live their dreams and be part of the team. It was the team in the dream, the team in the dream. You've got a dream, we've got a team. And when I use the word dream, I'm talking like dreams, our dream life. But I could break it down to your burning desire, or your why, or even just your family needs. What are our family needs? Maybe I could even break it down to say, what are reasons unknown? Maybe we should build this business for reasons unknown. So I don't know, I get excited that really, maybe, to turn it back over to Dale, but to say that I, more than anybody I know, am one simple word, one word. Now, if you ask Phil, if you ask Dale, they can probably think of a lot of words that would meaning dumb or ugly. But no, I'm saying the word that I want to tell you is, I'm one word for sure: evidence. Evidence. For sure, I'm evidence that this idea has worked, is working, and will work. So I hope I use the word evidence, but I really hope that you'll give you confidence, because it's all about belief, and we increase by association. So if we associate with each other, our belief goes up, because we're associating with people who are succeeding at what we're trying to succeed at. That's huge. If you want to associate with people, you want to associate with people who are succeeding at what you want to succeed at. I wanted to succeed at financial freedom, but yet nobody in my neighborhood was financially free. So how could I learn? By associating with them. Nobody at my high school was free. None of the teachers were free. None of my friends' parents were free. Go to church, nobody at church was free. So I couldn't learn how to become financially free by associating with all those people. But I went to an event like this and met some people who were succeeding. And I chose to think like they thought so I could live like they lived. And it's made all the difference. So be eternally grateful for those great mentors. And I think that's why I keep carrying the torch, because they've passed away. And man, I'm going to keep sharing. I'm going to keep that torch burning bright. But anyway, go back to you, Dale. You're the man.
Lennon, that's great. A lot of the stuff you've addressed are part of the things I'm going to be asking you to elaborate on, which is great. feel free to talk as much as you want. They hear me all the time. I want you to be to really get in depth on what you want to tell. We've got ourselves a good strong half hour's worth of time to do it, and I want you to elaborate whenever you feel comfortable that you need to do that. One of the things I wrote down here is you talk about the process of becoming a success. You've spoken about that many times, and the importance of personal growth. Elaborate on that. Go ahead and tell us what you mean by that.
Well, I think increase by association. So what are we choosing to associate with every day? Now, that could be, what book are you reading? Sometimes people say, well, I don't have a half hour, an hour to read. I'm going, get in the habit of a page a day. Just start with a page. But what are we reading that's going into our head? What are we listening to? Man, in the old days, we just had, well, I go way back to where it was cassettes, but we'd listen to cassettes. Then it went to CDs. Well, now, gosh, we can go on to our sites, and we Dale mentioned several of them before, and we all have our Facebook sites and places where we can go and watch videos of the recordings, YouTube, where we put these recordings so people can listen for free and learn. But we're personally growing. I remember a quick little story. My dad's my hero, and it's kind of crazy how he was taught that get a good education, you'll get a good job, and get a better education, you'll get a better job. So he was big on education. So he graduated from high school, then he graduated from the university or college, and then he went and got his master's degree. Then he got a PhD. Then he got a second PhD. My dad's got 2 PhDs. I remember thinking, and yet he was still a second mortgage on an average house, and he was still just home to work, work to home, home to work, work to home. And he said, but I saw him say, and he'll tell you today, he's still alive, and he gets on our calls sometimes, and he's just so excited. But he says that for less than he paid for textbooks alone, any semester, he got started in his own business, and he duplicated his income in 7 months. Now, I saw the 7-month plan versus the 30 years, because he'd been a university professor for years. And I remember thinking, man, that's pretty easy. The 30-year plan plus 2 PhDs plus college degree plus master's, or the 7-month plan. But I do remember that I decided I was going to do it. And I remember he was doing the big meeting. And so, man, I had a new guest. So I went to the meeting, and I mean, I wanted everybody there, and I wanted numbers and excitement and everybody be positive, and so that my guest, my prospect, would say yes and join. Well, it was a good meeting, and he did. Well, the next week, and afterwards, because I was still in high school, so I was living at home. And when my dad got home, he said, wow, I'm proud of you, Lennon, proud of you. You brought somebody to the event, and it was awesome, and way to go. But the next week, I didn't have anybody to bring. Dale mentioned, to tie it more into, Dale mentioned that he has these calls every Monday, and we have different calls for presentations and things. And this was back before COVID. So of course this was years ago, but I'm saying even now we have live meetings. So it can be a Zoom event, a live meeting. But anyway, that's just, the story was that I went and played like softball, because it's like I didn't have somebody to bring to the event. And my dad came home and he said, I didn't see you at the event tonight. I said, yeah, I went and played softball because I didn't have anybody. Cool, my dad's cool. And he said, okay. Well, the next week I had somebody. So man, I was there all excited and ready to go. I wanted everybody else there. I wanted big numbers to get my people excited. And as the story goes, I'll shorten the story, but The next week I didn't go. The next week I didn't go. And because I went and did something like play softball. And my dad came into my room and he says, you know, Lennon, I'm kind of disappointed in you. I thought I raised you better than this. I'm thinking, huh? I'm in, you know, if somebody would have asked me, are you going to quit? No, I'm not going to quit. Are you part of the team? Yeah, man, I'm part of the team. But he says, I thought I raised you better. I thought, what? He says, I didn't know I raised a taker. I thought I taught you to be a giver. I'm thinking, a giver, a taker? And he goes, yeah, think about it. Every time we do an event, you want everybody there friendly. You want everybody there so that your prospects will get excited. But if you don't have somebody, you don't go and support the team. I'm disappointed. Man, I remember feeling so bad, like I didn't even think that deep. But I did make a commitment that I'd never miss an event, ever. And I never have, ever. Now, that's a great blessing from God, too, that I've never missed a meeting in all these years, ever, for being sick. But also, it was a decision that I'd never miss. I started being first to the events. I was the first one there. I was welcoming everybody. Hey, you're gonna love this. I started being a team player. I started realizing that there was never going to be an empty seat because I wasn't there. I just decided to plug in. I just plugged in. And what I found was that, number one, the whole team started knowing that I was part of the team. You see, when you're not on an event, if it was just like in high school football or whatever sport you guys play, soccer or whatever over in Africa, the people that go to practice, everybody thinks they're on the team. The people that don't go to practice, everybody thinks they're not on the team. So I made a decision that people were going to see my face. I also realized that my upline were the free people, the millionaires. They were the ones that were financially free. I realized that I was not their ticket to freedom, but they were my ticket to freedom. It was weird at first that I even thought, oh, wow, now they're really going to make some money because I joined. Huh? I'm driving a $125 Volkswagen, living at home in high school, and I think my millionaire upline is going to be rich because I joined? No, it was the opposite. I realized that they were financially free already. They didn't have to do this. Everybody only had 30 days in a month, and they could choose during their 30 days to work with somebody else. I said, I need him to work with me, or I'm never going to get a new car. I'm never going to have my own house. So I started wanting to be there so they would know I was the one they should work with. I was a good investment. I was there. Every time they turned around, they saw my face. I wanted to learn from them. I also learned that every meeting I went to, whether I had people or not, I learned something. Even if they basically were teaching the exact same thing they taught 100 times before, somehow I taught something. But I also just realized that they started realizing that I was worthy of their time. You see, I knew that if they were working with somebody else, specifically, they weren't working with me. And I wanted to get free. So anyway, I repeated that, but I just wanted them to see my face. Plus, I wanted all the other teammates. Then people started edifying, and they started edifying in each other, but they started edifying the ones they saw and talking, and all of a sudden, the business grew because I learned that I just needed to be a good bringer. Just bring people. If I could only be good at one thing on earth, it'd be good at being a bringer. It's a made up word, but bring them to the event. I said, I'm going to just become the best bringer on the planet. And that was what was in my head. I let the successful people do the event, but I brought people. I just became a good bringer. I said, if there's an event, I'm going to make sure I have somebody. I realized that I didn't have to have 10 or 20. I just had to have one. Just each one reach one all the way to freedom. Because if I could teach them the same thing, it's the same thing in going 100K. How do you go 100K? It's still built on 1Ks. We go 1K, then forever we can teach others. Let me teach you, let me help you do what I've done. That's why it's so important to go 1K, because then forever and ever, you can not be telling a new person, now this is what you should do, or this is what you can do. No, it's a power in just saying, let me help you do what I just did. And then soon you break 3 or 4 or 5 1Ks and you're a 5K. They can break 3 or 4 or 5 1Ks and you just keep breaking 1Ks and soon you're 25K and a 50K and a 100K. But I'm supposed to be answering Dale's questions and I'm just talking. But I get excited about the idea that, and I'm hoping that I'm kind of answering Dale's first question, but I think that was a major decision. When we talk about personal growth, because his question was really about personal growth, and then I started talking about commitment and being part of the team. But I really think that's what helped me gain the confidence and grow. Because by hearing them over and over, even when like it's the presentation, if they're showing the plan, that's supposed to be the same. But the more I heard people do it, the more I realized I could do it. Not just saying I could do the presentation. Of course, by listening to them, I could learn how to do the presentation. I'm talking about just overall, I got belief that I could do it, do the business, that I could succeed. You see, personal growth. So when there wasn't an event, I was trying to make sure that good stuff was going into my brain. I wanted to build me. So many of us, if we imagine we cut ourselves right here at our neck, now don't go cut yourself, but I look at right from here down. From here down is my labor part, my $10, $15 an hour part, or whatever you're making, $1 an hour. It's like our wages, or if you're on salary, it's whatever this is what we're using to work to earn our money. But from here up is our $1 million an hour part. From here up, it's unlimited. From here down, it's what you're making, because you're already giving your time for what you're making. So here down, and yet we're always feeding the $10 an hour part. We make sure we got the food, we're feeding our $10 an hour part, but we forget to feed our $1 million an hour part. So I made a concerted effort, and I still do to this day. I can go get you the book I'm reading right now. But I'm telling you, what am I listening to? Who am I associating with? That was the key to giving me the belief. But here's another little key to that. I chose to associate with people who were succeeding at what I wanted to succeed at. Didn't I say that earlier? I'm saying it again because I think it's worth repeating, that I wanted to succeed in financial freedom. Remember the same principle. If you want to learn how to play the piano or the guitar, you associate, or you want to get good at tennis, or whatever you want to get good at, whatever you choose to get. If you want to be better at art, then you start associating with better artists. If you want to learn how to play the guitar, you can't learn how to play the guitar from me. I don't know how to play the guitar. I would go find a good guitar player and learn from them. I would associate with good musicians. Well, it's no different. I'm saying if you want to become financially free, then choose to associate with people who are financially free. So I chose to make sure I was listening, reading from. It's all association. I can be associating with that successful person through his book. I can be associating with that successful person through the CDs or the videos. I'm associating with that success. You are right now. You're here on this call. So the more I associate, the more I chose to associate with the people that were succeeding at what I was trying to succeed at, the more my belief went up that I could succeed. And when my belief was up that I succeed, then I put in the action, because my actions follow my belief. People that don't believe this is going to work don't work it very much. People that believe this is going to work it because they believe. Dale, back to you, brother.
That's great, Lennon. Everything you say is spot on. You know, some of the things you mentioned, like you're talking about continuity. You know, doing things. You're showing up to all the meetings and you're making sure that you're doing the presentation the same way each time. Things like that. You know, I've been doing this for quite a while myself, and I watched a lot of people on my teams. And you know, I've had great leaders who, when they got to a certain point, they stopped going to the meetings because they felt they had reached a certain point. And once they stopped going to the meetings, guess what? Their lieutenants said, oh, they're not going to the meetings anymore, so I guess I don't have to go to the meetings. So they stopped going to the meetings. And then their people do the same thing. And you all of a sudden have lost all the momentum that you have built up over the years, and you're starting over again. And so I think what people have to understand in this business is you can't work it hard for 2 or 3 weeks or 2 or 3 months and then just go dormant. Now you can cheat a little bit. I had a leader who he worked his butt off for about 2 years and built a huge team, and then he started working in the Caribbean, and he would go there, and he'd be there for a week's vacation. But while he was there, he'd do 2 or 3 presentations and post them on Facebook and wherever. So it left the illusion that he was working all the time, but he was taking a little bit of a break. But the thing, and I don't mean to say that in a way that sounds like it's dishonest, he was just showing his team that no matter whether he was working a full time or he was taking a little bit of a break, he was not forgetting what got him where he was. He was continuing to do the work. He just wasn't doing it as as strongly and as religiously at that point in time as he was before. But he's always being an example for his team. So when you talk about your continuity of teams and stuff like that, you're absolutely right. That is so important to show people that you're always going to be the leader. You also said something that stuck with me as far as talking about the presentation, how the presentation is always the same. I met a great leader in network marketing a few years back, and he's been super successful. And he said, to be good at this, you have to do the same thing over and over again to the point where you're so bored with it, it's driving you mad. But you still have to do it that way, because the way that's being done, the way you were taught, is the way that works. So if you try to change it, you may break the spell. You may ruin what was working. He said, with him, it was funny. He said, I always tell a joke in the middle of my presentation. He says, you know why I tell the joke? It's not for you guys. It's for me. It breaks up the monotony. But the bottom line is, it's all about the fact that whatever you do, you need to do it, and do it consistently, and do it the same way so that it succeeds. And the last thing I want to say about that part is the fact when you talked about being a bringer. This is the easiest business in the world. You don't have to be a great speaker. You don't have to be a great presenter. You don't have to be a great charismatic person. You just have to be a bringer. You have to be an inviter. Invite people. And if you don't feel comfortable doing this business as far as presenting yourself, you invite somebody like Lennon Ledbetter to come and do the presentation for you, and you just make sure there's a lot of people there to listen. So again, I'm rambling a little bit, but at the same time, I want people to understand that this is the easiest business in the world. It's just about inviting. If you invite 100 people, 20 of them are going to become distributors. 40 of them are going to become customers. The other 40, if you work it right, are going to give you a referral to somebody that you can talk to next. So you win, win, win. There's no losing in this business as long as you just follow that simple plan. One thing you talked about, you said action bolsters belief. And you talked a little bit about it, but I'll kind of expand on that. It's when people are doing things over and over again and they get comfortable doing it, the more comfortable they get, the more confident they get, the better they do what they're doing, and the better they're able to train from that. But again, it comes down to belief. So expand on that a little bit more.
Well, I know my brother, he says, he's got a great line. He said, always remember that there are more people out there than mistakes you can make. And I just know it's numbers. But also I'll quote my mother used to say, there's so many people that are like, got a rifle, ready, aim, 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 pull the trigger. They're always getting ready, learning, getting ready, but just ready, aim, because they say, well, I'm just not motivated. I'll show more plans when I'm more motivated. I need more motivation and action. She'd say, you start putting in action to be more motivated than you can even imagine. So I do, as we put in action, we're motivated. But I think I hope I'm answering your question, Dale, that it's like, I think that people do not build this business for really only one of two reasons: lack of knowledge or lack of motivation. They're brand new, they're all excited, but don't know what to do. Or there's lots of people that know exactly what to do. Hey, they've got a person on a Zoom call before, so they know how to do it. They've registered somebody before, so they know how to do it. If they've registered one person, they know how to do it. Now let's just go do a bunch more. But it's like, so they know what to do, but they somehow aren't motivated. Well, again, increase by association. The more I associated with people who were succeeding, the more I learned what to do. So I knew what to do. Also, the more I saw others climbing, look at all the new 1Ks and 5Ks and a 10K that we had last month just in Africa. That motivates me. You see, in other words, it's like by association, I'm motivated. By association, I'm gaining the knowledge. But by action, the only thing I've ever seen to overcome fear is action. It's just, we either have fear or faith. You could say belief, faith. It's like they can't be at the same place at the same time. I'm either full of fear or I'm full of belief. So I know that when I believe, well, fear knocked at the door, faith answered, and no one was there. I just say that to myself sometimes because I get excited because I realize that all I have to do is make a decision to start. I can't finish a race I don't start. I just got to start. And we will get better at it because we do it. Isn't there no line that says you get better at something, not that the nature of the thing changed, but your ability to perform improved. So I just made a decision. I wasn't going to quit. And I also made a decision that I was going to start. And I was just going to try. And so I can go way more detail, but Dale, keep going unless you want to keep going along that line or anywhere you want to take this, I'm happy.
Well, a couple of things I want to say, and then kind of you get your take on it. When we first get in this business, and you may even disagree with me on this, but when you first get in this business, I've had a lot of leaders say, don't prejudge. And as I built this business, I've learned that the best way for me to build a strong business is to treat once I meet somebody and I present them with the business and stuff like that, I don't stop just there. I interview them. I ask them questions because I'm looking for people that are going to succeed. I'm looking for people that are going to that want it bad enough so that they're coachable. And it's just like when I interview somebody to work in my tire store, if I'm interviewing them and it's obvious that they're not going to, they're really cocky, they're not willing to learn, they're not willing to, their resume says that they're only willing to do certain things. When I check with their previous employers, they tell me that they're a little hard-headed, that they're only going to do things a certain way. I look at all that, and I try to pick people out that are going to succeed. Because I honestly I don't want to sign somebody up in this business that's I just know almost immediately is going to fail. What good is that? It doesn't do me any good, and it certainly doesn't do them any good. So again, I treat this like an interview process, and I'm looking for people that I really, really think I can help succeed in this business. Not for myself, but for them. Because if I help them succeed, I'm automatically going to succeed. So again, so that's what I do. I don't just sign everybody up that I can sign up. I sign up the people that I think have the ability to succeed and that have the desire to succeed. Give me your take on that.
I'm agreeing. I believe that I think focus on a word, don't prejudge, because I can tell you stories where people were sleeping under a bridge and now they're millionaires that I helped. I can show you where our dentists and our doctors and attorneys joined our business and are financially free. So in a sense, you could say, I don't know who's going to be hungry enough to pay the price. But I do agree with what Dale's saying in that generally look for indicator lights or look for, I was doing an event one time, and I mean, lots of times, but the person said, opening up the questions, and somebody says, well, what are you looking for? What are you looking for in a person? And it was a little panel, and one of the persons that was successful, but they said, well, you just show everybody because you don't really know who's going to say yes. So just show everybody. Somebody else said, well, I'm just looking, they gave these answers. And I said, I'm looking for an Eagle Boy Scout, married, college graduate, and I started naming things. And I said, that's what I'm looking for. And then everybody looked at me like, what? There's a lot of people that are like, didn't go to college or aren't those things. And I said, exactly. What I'm looking for is somebody who started something before and never quit. That's what I'm looking for. They don't have to be a college graduate. They don't have to be a high school graduate, but it does show me that they started and finished. They started and finished. If they got their Eagle Scout, you're in Africa, so I don't even know if they have Boy Scouts over there, but it's like, I got my Eagle, but you start, and lots of people stop at second class or first class or star or life, all the little levels, just like we have 1K, 5K, 10K. But you're looking for, and of course we have lots of singles. So I explained that you don't have to be married. I'm just looking for somebody that started something and didn't quit. And so because that's the main thing, because everything it takes to be successful in this business can be learned. Everything it takes to be successful can be learned. So basically we just have to make a decision. We're not quitting. And so so I agree with Dale. I'm looking for people. It's funny that you find the person that's sitting at home watching television, has all day to build the business, and they can't find time to build the business. But you go show a busy person who's already busy, and they find time to build the business. It's like, because they are looking for ways to get ahead. They're doing things. Now we show them a better thing and they start fitting it in. When my dad got started, he was already a university professor all day long. Well, how does a university professor make more money? He teaches night classes every night. Well, if he wants to make more money, how does he make more money? He teaches summer school. But then he's maxed out because there's only one summer. There's not 4 summers. There's no more nights to teach night classes. So if somebody would have gone to my dad and said, well, I need 3 nights a week to build this business, he'd have said, I don't have 3 nights. But he did have time periods. He knew that he had a little lunchtime. He knew that from his afternoon class to his evening class start, from the ending of his afternoon class to his first evening class, he didn't have time to drive home and have dinner and get back to work. But he did have a block, a little time period. He started being efficient, talking to people during the time periods he had. And soon he bought his freedom. See, luckily, some people have jobs that anyway, he was able to say, man, my income's going up. And he just stopped night classes. He still taught during the day, but he just bought all of his nights. I remember it came summertime. He says, we're going on a long vacation. I'm thinking, we never been on a long vacation in my life. Where are we going? He goes, we're going. Well, that's when it dawned on me. He wasn't teaching summer school. It means he was free because he had enough money through this business that he didn't have to teach summer school. So I hope you catch that illustration a little bit, that because I want you to know that my dad was a busy person, but he realized he was maxed out and he didn't want to live the rest of his life paycheck to paycheck, home to work, work to home. So he did something. But there was probably other people in the meeting that had all their nights free. They were already all their nights free and they're just figuring out stuff to do in their night. And they didn't have enough time to do this. So I think Dale's right on. Just show it to the sharpest people you know. And you'll always have confidence because you can get them on with Dale. You see, you can get them on with upline that's succeeding. And then I sometimes think when I was new, I was trying to show them everything and explain everything because I wanted to look intelligent. I wanted to look like I was knowing what I was doing. I also thought it was showing my upline that I was a leader. So I was trying to explain everything myself. Then it realized that less was more. The more I could just say, that's a great question. That's why I need to get you with my upline who's already succeeding at this. That's why I need to get you on the Zoom call so you can see the people that are succeeding at this. Instead of trying to be the know-all, do-all, say-all, I just started being a connector, a bringer, a good edifier. I would just create value to the event, make the event have value. I'd create value around the person that was speaking at the event or on the Zoom call, so that the people wanted to listen to the person of value. And then I realized, man, the less I said, the better. I'm just new. That's why you want to meet them. Let me connect you with them. Boy, they're changing my life. I didn't try to go into all the details and explain the pay plan and everything. It's changing my life. Let me connect you with the people that are changing my life. Took all the pressure off and gave me the confidence when I was 19, 20, just a kid, to go talk to successful people. And so I did. I just started showing the most successful people I knew. I also knew that I could learn a line. You need to meet my dad. You need to meet my dad. Well, you could say, you need to meet Dale. You need to meet Dale. You see, you need to meet Phil. You need to meet Lennon. You need to meet, and is that making sense, Dale?
Yep. You went right where I wanted you to go. And I asked that question, and I hope it was a question that the reason I asked is I wanted people to perk up and go, what the heck is Dale talking about? And the thing is, the average millionaire has 7 income streams. Okay. And when people first get into the business, they tend to go after people they think need the money rather than people that would excel at this business. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get you to think along the lines of, if I just sign somebody up and I ask them to invite a bunch of people to a meeting that I can talk to, make sure they're stretching themselves a little bit as far as who they're asking. If they invite the first 10 people, and the first 10 people I invite are people who should want it, but have never succeeded at anything else because they just aren't willing to put the time in, then if you get 10 no's right off the bat, what are the odds that you're going to continue to do this business? So I'm trying to shorten that learning curve, and I'm trying to get people to think along the lines of, when you first get in this business, when you first sign somebody up in this business, really sit down with them and tell them what you're looking for. Ask them who those leaders are that they might already know. And if they don't feel brave enough to start that conversation, get on the call with them. And between the two of you, start that conversation. Do whatever you got to do. But bottom line is, I want people to understand is you don't start with the lowest common denominator. You've got to stretch yourself. You've got to go after successful people if you want to be successful in this business. And you're absolutely right. Earlier you said, somebody who's never been successful in anything else. That doesn't mean they'll never be successful. But at the beginning, you have to play the odds. You have to play the odds. You want to have when you bring somebody new in this business. If they invite 5 people, you want to have 1 or 2 of them sign up so they're fired up and they'll go out and do the same thing, and then we can duplicate that with the people they brought in. I hope this makes sense.
You get it, Dale. What you're saying is that people, we all love to hear that story of this person was living in a hut and now look at their beautiful life and they went from nothing to something, and that's inspirational. But it's like, I really believe that it's more, okay, maybe I was going to go a different way, but let me answer it this way. I get some people that call me and want me to help them with a 3-way, and just every one of them, when you say, well, what does it cost to get started? And I say, well, the best way to go is be an executive so you maximize the pay plan. And, like, well, what's the least I can get in for? If every time you're talking, they're having trouble saying, what's the lowest I can get in for and how much does that cost? Versus talking to a group where there's another group that you go, well, I recommend to get in as executive. And they go, that's all? That's all? I spend more than that on a, in other words, it's like, I think there's people out there that are already successful. They understand value. They understand being an entrepreneur. And they also understand that if you get in if you get registered for about the price of dinner, you're usually committed about the price of dinner. So, man, it's like some people, they get me on calls, and the first 10 people they get me on the call for go, that's all. And here's my credit card. And then other times they're getting me on the first 10 people are all, they just can't sign up. Well, give me a couple weeks. I'll get paid in 2 weeks and then I can get signed up. Or it's funny, then something will come up and then there'll be 2 more weeks and then next paycheck and next paycheck. Is that making sense, Dale, a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you stop and think of how this business can change lives and do it fairly quickly if you're willing to do that. I mean, I've had people, I always tell people in the first 90 days, I try to train them so at the end of 90 days, they'll be making between $1,000 and $4,000 a month, and then we'll go from there. And I tell them, I said, some people aren't going to make a dime because they're not going to do anything. Other people will make $4,000 in their first week in the business, the first couple of weeks in the business. It all depends on how badly people want it, and how brave they are as far as going out and having that 20 seconds of courage to talk to people that are already successful. So that's what we're trying to get across.
Absolutely. And that's what's crazy about our business is it takes so little to have so much potential. I had somebody call me this week and said, hey, I'm going to start this new business. I want you to be my partner. And I said, well, what are you looking for? And he said, well, it'll take about 400,000 US dollars the first quarter, the first 3 months, and then we'll see what it needs after that. And I said, 400,000. Yeah, and he thought he was being low. I'm thinking it cost more. But then he said, or you could bring a friend in and then you only have to put in 200. They'll put in 200. I'm thinking, we're talking peanuts to get started in something with phenomenal potential that cost me nothing to open my mouth. Yet I could put 400,000 the first 3 months into something with big risk, could lose it all. I go, it's always been funny to me. Of course, I said, good luck on that. I didn't do it because I didn't want to put my time there. I knew that if I put my money, I could make it work. but I'd have to work it. I want to work this. I want your life to be better. So, and plus I like freedom, man. That's what I love about building a team. I'm free. I choose to be on this call. It's like I get to do this business, but I love the flexibility. I love the freedom. But yeah, back to what Dale was saying, it's amazing how for so little investment, even if you get to the executive level, for the massive potential. I also love that there's no politics. In the US now, there's a whole bunch of friction on racism and different things. And I've always loved our business because it doesn't matter if you're tall or short, fat or skinny, male or female, black or white, Christian or not. It's like, I can't even remember if I said married or single, educated or non-educated. Doesn't matter. It's, you can do it. You can change the destiny of your children and your children's children and your children's children's children that are yet unborn. Because you said yes to this team and you said yes to your dream. You got to say yes to your dream and yes to this team. And for very little, opening our mouth, we can build and change so many lives. If you help enough other people, Dale said it earlier too. He said, help enough other people get what they want, you'll always get what you want. So I love this business. I love building teams. I love because it's just no politics, no racial issues, no nothing. It was over in the US, in the United States, it was the Super Bowl. That's a big football game of the year yesterday. And I saw the main star had an interview. And I remember thinking, it was just yesterday. And he said, and he said, I love the locker room because if the whole world would get along like our locker room, because you see, there were bigger ones and smaller ones. There were faster ones and slower ones. There were ones that could catch and the ones that could throw. There were different colors, different religions, but in the locker room, they all worked together for a common goal. And I said, man, that speech was perfect. You're speaking what I speak. That's what I love about our team, is that anybody can succeed if they're willing. Anybody, if they choose to have courage where others fear, courage where others fear. Anybody can succeed at this business. And that's why I do it, because I know God wants me to keep sharing with people, because I got to give them the belief. And that's why I'm doing it. So I love it. I love it. I told you a great blessing from God as I saw it when I was 17. I think that maybe the greater blessing is that I'm as excited today as I was the day I saw it. I was looking forward to getting on this call. I didn't say, oh, Dale asked me to do a call, doggone it. Dale asked me to get on a Zoom call. Shoot, I'd rather be golfing. No, I got excited. I said, man, we're going to change some lives today. Some people, this is going to be the call that's going to change their life, and they're going to go 10K or 25K. This is the call. And I wanted to be a part of it. I get excited. So, plus, I increase by association. Many times I do a meeting, I say, I'm going to talk to myself for a little bit, and I'll let you listen in. But I'm talking to myself. So hopefully I said a few things that excited you. But don't you think I got excited seeing all of you new people and seeing Dale again and Phil, my friends? But look at all you new guys. And even though some of you say, well, I'm not brand new. No, if you're 2 months old, 3 months old, 6 months old in this business, you're a new guy. I'm so grateful you're on the team. And I get excited. I don't know. I've just always received more when I give. So by sharing, I receive. And so I get fired up. I'm going to be fired up all day because this was great. But anyway, back to you, Big Dale.
All right. Thank you, Lennon. we're a little bit over our hour, and I always try to keep people to as close to an hour as possible. And I do know that there's an CashX meeting coming up for some of the right now. So actually, we lost a few people that went to that. Guys, I thank you all for coming on. Lennon, thank you so much. Thank you for everything you do for me. But thank you for coming on doing this call. I know I'm fired up. Thank you, everybody else, for coming on. I hope you got something out of this. I see I had quite a few.
You're right next to me, and I see. Anyway, I just love all you guys. Thank you, Dale. Thanks for. I just love working with you, man. I don't want to end without letting these people know how grateful I am we met, and I loved how we talked on Saturday. That was just 2 days ago. I mean, we talk often, but we had a long talk, just fun. We talked about all kinds of stuff and what countries we're going to build in the future. And I love being around you because you're always dreaming, you're always thinking bigger, and it's just fun to run with you. So Dale, you're awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So are you. So again, thank you everybody for coming on today. I did have some response, so I think next week we will do some sort of a Q&A, so people will be able to ask questions. So between now and then, thanks for coming on. I hope you guys all have a great week. And again, thanks a lot, Lennon, for doing this. So at this point in time, I'm going to close out, and we'll see you next week. Guys, have a great week. Take care, everybody.